Now, Scott says his approach is biological, and Greg looks for motivation. Now, together, they have been called a human lie detector. It's kind of scary to be around them, actually. On their YouTube channel, The Behavior Panel, they analyzed Alex's behavior on the stand and his first recorded interview in the police car the night of the murders. I want everybody to just stop and think for a second, particularly if you're a parent. Think just how demented you have to be to take guns down and shoot your spouse and your child in the chest and head with a shotgun, and their brains are laying out on the ground there. I mean, think about your own child for a minute and think about how far off you gotta be to do something like that. Okay, now you're in a car and you're talking about it, and you're already generating lies and alibis and working stuff out. You don't have any grief. You're not, that's not happening, right?
No, Doc, I'm a combat veteran. And when you happen up on somebody who's injured, never mind your family, you happen up on somebody who's injured in that way, it's horrific. And you have emotion, and all those emotions boil up. We don't see that. We don't see that. We see no grief muscle. We see no, his body language doesn't show it. He does the wail, and then his breathing comes back to normal. There's something wrong here. Right off, we saw it.
Yeah, and that happens immediately. And talk about this grief muscle, the inverted, talk about that a
Yeah,
little
so
bit.
Scott will always say, I'm the guy to do it because I can do it on demand, if you can see it on the camera. It's this little arch of muscles at the top of these concern muscles in your head. It's actually 5 muscles that come together. That term was coined by Darwin, oddly enough. But when we're showing pain, remorse, feelings of grief, that muscle hops out. All of you have seen it. If you think about people you see who are suffering, losing a loved one, you'll see that arch. It's up here like an upside down horseshoe there.
What behavior should we look for in this video we're getting ready to see?
First thing we look for are tears. This is supposed to be real emotion and real crying, but we don't see any tears. Let's pay attention to his blink rate, see what happens with that, and the way he breathes and his movements. The more fluid he would be, the more honest we would be under the impression he is. But the less he moves, the tighter he keeps his arms to his body and closer to himself, that's when we start going, something's not right here.
All right, let's take a look.
Start at the top, take your time.
I pulled up and I could see him, and you know, I knew something was bad. I ran out. I knew it was really bad. My boy over there, I could see it was.
I'm sorry.
And I could see his brain on his... And I ran over to Maggie, and his cell phone popped out of his pocket. I started to try to do something with it, thinking maybe, but then I put it back down really quickly. Then I went to my wife, and I mean, I could see.
Did you touch Maggie at all?
I did. I touched them both.
That transition from emotional to, I touched them both. Your kid is better than that.
Yeah, and this you commented on this, just no tears.
There's none.
And it's interesting. Can we have this back up? There's a point here where he goes to, right here, he goes to his eyes, and then he's checking for tears. I think he's trying to see if he's actually selling this or not. Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.